everybody, this is Captain Equine here. So we're doing 3 podcasts this week because I forgot to do them last week, so y'all are getting a extra podcast, but I'm gonna just try and get into it here. So this is horse stories again, and I did put out a short asking for a couple stories. So one of the stories was that this lady, they were getting all ready for their trail ride, or maybe they were out riding in an arena, probably a trail ride, but they were cinching up their horses and they forgot to tighten their cinch all the way. So whenever they went out onto their trail ride practice, I don't know, the cinch was so loose that it just sort of bloop, they flipped over and into a bunch of blackberry bushes. So that's the only story I have. Thank you so much to the person who gave me it. I'm not putting your account or any of that stuff, but thank you so much. Let's go ahead and move on from that, and we'll talk a little bit about some of my stories because I have no other ones. So if y'all see my earlier podcast or some of my other videos, you will know that Captain, one of our 17-hand thoroughbred, got injured a little while ago because he was flying through the fence with the mares. Well, the mares are back. They're over in that field over there, but Captain's locked up, so we're not really worried about it. But I have so many videos of the horses going over there and talking to them, and the entire time I'm just like, why does this keep happening? So, they're not even supposed to be over there because it's a soybean farm. So, one of the farm hands must have left open the gate, or maybe the hunters, because it is dove hunting season. I don't know if anybody is experiencing the same thing my family is, but there's gunshots everywhere. So yeah, there's a story. Another story is from a couple of years back, and it was whenever I first got Thunder. Our first horse, the POA, he currently doesn't have an eye, but back then he had both his eyes. So we went to a restaurant, and while driving back home, my parents were all like, let's stop by your coach's barn. And we stopped by, and I thought he was going to be there, but he wasn't. So I was all like, we shouldn't be here. He's not here. Why are we here? We're going to get arrested. We shouldn't be here. We're trespassing. We're trespassing. Oh my god. What are we going to do? Oh my god. And so it was all planned for. I was like, we probably shouldn't be here. Isn't this technically breaking and entering? My parents were like, it's fine. And they said, just go look at all the horses in the barn while we wait for Mr. Dwayne to come down. So I went around and I said hello to all the horses. I said hello to some of the familiar faces and some of the unfamiliar faces. And then there was this black horse. I was like, oh, he's so pretty. It was a tiny blue roan POA. And I was like, aw, somebody must have gotten a new horse. I wonder whether or not he's in the training program. I mean, my sister were talking over in the corner about it, though she wasn't very interested in horseback riding yet, but she liked to talk about it with me. So we were just over in the corner talking about it, and Mr. Dwayne came in, and they were like, oh, I see you found the horse. He looked over to my parents, which I now know is did you tell them? And they said, let's pull her out. You can brush him off for me. So they pulled him out, and I was brushing him off because I was just, I'm helping out my coach. And then they said, you know that horse is yours, right? And I paused and said, that's not a funny joke. Because I have always wanted a horse at that point. I've been riding for 2 years, and several of my friends had gotten horses already, and I just wanted a horse so bad. And they're like, no, it's yours, really. And I was like, that's not funny. And I didn't believe him because he tricked my sister into thinking that our grandpa had gills earlier in the night. So it's just he's trying to pull one over on me. And then my mom was like, It's really your horse. What are you gonna name him? I still thought it was a joke. Until my coach said, no, it's your horse. And my sister got all excited and believed them. I still sort of thought it was a joke, but also sort of started to believe them. And I got super excited, but I'm not the type of person who's like, yay, 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 and jumping up and down. I'm the type of person who bottles up the excitement inside and like will smile a little and get all excited in the tone of my voice, but I won't be like my friend whenever she got her horse started crying. I don't do that. So I was just super excited. My parents could tell I was excited. My coach could not, so we all felt bad for him afterwards because he was waiting for that sort of reaction like my friend gave. But we were all, but I was all excited. I still thought it was a joke, so I refused to like name him until they confirmed in the morning that no, it wasn't a joke. They showed me some proof. And I was like, I guess I believe you. Then I got all excited and I started thinking about names, and I like went through all the basic names like Storm. My mom vetoed that one immediately. My sister said, what about Taco? And I vetoed that one. My dad suggested Thor, which is his middle name now, but wasn't then. And we were like going through all these names. And then there was a storm that night, it thundered, and I was like, what's the perfect mix between Storm and Thor? Thunder. Because those were the two names that I really liked. So I named him Thunder. I got there and I loved on him for a little while every single day. We were going there every single day for like a week because I just was so excited to have a horse. And we let him out into his first time with the other horses. Mr. Delaney was like, they're gonna fight, don't worry. I've seen this a million times before. He won't get hurt. He jumped over the fence, cut his leg down, and got hurt. My mom was there helping with the farrier things that morning, and she was all dressed up because she was going to her office afterwards. So she had to go jump through a bunch of things, call the school that was nearby that owned the pasture for the, I can't remember the name, but for the kids that do the farm stuff at schools, and had them come open up the pasture so she could go and rescue my horse from the pasture. He was bleeding all down his leg. They called the vet, and he was, for the next 4 weeks, in rehab after he healed. It was a pretty bad cut. You can't see it anymore. He's grown out because it's been like 3 years. But it was a pretty nasty cut, so we took care of it. I was super bummed because I was just starting to work up the confidence to start going faster than a walk on him, and now all I could do was walk. So I did all the walking around. I walked him every day, first in hand, then slowly started walking him under saddle, got to trotting, got to cantering, was doing light practices, and then I started to actually get to enjoy having a horse because he got to go back outside. We separated the horse that chased him over the fence from him, and he was put inside a different pasture. He got along with everybody great. He was in the same pasture as my best friend's horse, so we would walk up there together whenever we got our horses and would talk the entire time. So yeah, that was the story of me getting my first ever horse and the pure heart attack that followed. This is a little bit under 10 minutes, but I would just like to say thank you guys. Tell me whether or not this background works better than the other ones. Hope you all enjoyed today's podcast.